All right, so anyone listening is probably interested in this idea of how science can actually help fields that are all about human connection,
Yeah.
like therapy counseling,
Yeah.
social work, those
Right.
helping professions.
Hmm.
And we're going deep on this today with the nature of science and the helping professions as our guide.
Great source.
And I think what's really cool about this is it's not just like, here's some dry research.
Hmm.
It's more like, whoa, a scientific mindset can make these professions even stronger.
I know, it's funny, right? We always picture scientists in labs,
Right.
but the most powerful tool a therapist or a social worker can have is a scientific mindset.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What does that even mean? Like outside of a lab.
Yeah.
You can't measure empathy with a beaker.
Exactly. It's
See?
not about the tools, it's the approach.
Okay.
Curiosity, asking why constantly and looking for evidence, that's the heart of science. And guess
Right.
what?
Huh.
Those are crucial for understanding human behavior and social issues, just like they are for understanding the laws of physics.
So instead of going with your gut, you're talking about bringing that systematic questioning to helping people.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
The source material is like a challenge to think differently. Like imagine you're a counselor working with a family that just can't communicate.
Yeah, tough situation.
Instead of just saying, oh, you need to talk more.
Right, the old classic.
A scientific mindset would be like, wait, what are the patterns here? What's really going on underneath? That's where this approach is powerful.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could shift things, but I gotta say, some people are probably like, human experience is way too messy for science. You can't quantify a broken heart.
Right.
How does the source tackle that?
It goes right at it.
Okay,
The author says human issues are complex, and that's why we need a rigorous approach.
okay.
Just intuition or a single story you heard, that's not enough. Science helps us see beyond that one person and find the bigger patterns that affect everyone.
So it's like zooming out to see the whole forest, not just one tree. Exactly. And that can change everything. We can actually check if what we're doing is working.
Oh, interesting.
Are we making a difference? Think about it. Wouldn't you feel better if your therapist was using something proven by research, not just what they feel like doing?
That makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
So constantly checking and improving to make sure we're helping, not just going through the motions.
Yes.
But I'm curious, the source mentions fallibilistic realism.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
Honestly, what is that?
It's a fancy name, but the idea is simple and crucial.
Okay.
It's like being a detective. You gather clues, you make theories, but you gotta be open to new evidence that could change everything.
So admitting we don't have all the answers right away and being ready to learn more?
Exactly. Fallibilistic realism means our understanding of the world, especially human stuff, is always changing.
Okay.
We gotta be humble, open to new info and different views, which is why we need lots of ways to do research.
Okay, let's talk about those methods. This is where it can get technical, so break it down for me.
Mm-hmm.
What are the main approaches,
Yeah.
and how do they fit with this whole fallibilistic realism idea?
Okay, so imagine you're trying to understand a city.
Okay,
You could look at a map, you see the layout, the roads, how many people live there. That's like fixed methods.
Yeah.
What we call quantitative research.
gotcha.
Gives you the big picture trends and patterns.
So like how many people are experiencing homelessness in a certain area?
Exactly. Now imagine you actually walk through the city.
Okay,
You talk to people, experience each neighborhood. That's like flexible methods or qualitative research.
okay.
Diving into stories' context, well, why behind the numbers?
So if fixed methods are the map, then flexible ones are like the walking tour that makes it real.
I like that. And here's the thing. You need both to truly understand the city, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You wouldn't get the city's vibe just from a map, and you'd get lost without one.
Right.
But I'm still not clear on how this connects back to fallibilistic realism.
Okay, so think about it. If we only use those fixed methods, we might miss what it's like for each person and make big statements that aren't true for everyone.
Right?
But if it's only flexible methods, we might get lost in those individual stories and miss the bigger trends affecting everyone.
So it's like two different lenses, each showing a different part of reality, and we need both for the full picture.
Exactly. Fallibilistic realism says there's no one truth when it comes to humans. We need those different views and research methods to get it right.
Now, I'm really seeing how this all fits together. It's not science versus intuition.
Yeah.
It's both our hearts and minds, empathy with evidence.
I like that.
But how does this translate to real life? How does research actually help someone working with clients?
That's where the magic happens. Imagine a therapist using a specific technique because research says it works. Or a social worker fighting for a policy change based on data showing it helps people. That's the power of using science to make a real difference.
Okay, now we're talking.
Eh.
But I have a feeling there's more to unpack here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Before we dive deeper, let's take a quick break. Stay tuned, because next time we'll figure out how you can use these ideas even if you're not a researcher yourself.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome back. All right, so we talked about why science is important for those helping professions. But now let's get practical. How can our listener actually use this stuff in their work every day?
Sometimes the simplest things are the most powerful. Every big scientific discovery, it all starts with a question.
So step one is just get curious.
Absolutely. But not just any question. It's got to be the right question. The kind that really makes you think and look deeper. Like, imagine you're a teacher and you have a student who just isn't getting math.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Instead of assuming they're just not good at it,
Right.
a scientific mindset would be, hold on, what exactly are they struggling with? Is there something else going on? What teaching methods might actually work for them?
So taking a step back and really understanding the situation from different angles.
Yes. And here's where it gets interesting. Once you start asking those good questions, you automatically start gathering info. You're seeing patterns, noticing things, maybe even tracking data in a simple way.
Okay, hold on. A lot of people hear data and they freak out.
Yeah.
Spreadsheets, statistics. Does it have to be that complicated?
Not at all. Data can be as simple as writing notes in a notebook or making a basic chart.
Okay.
It's about being intentional with the information you're getting and finding those aha moments that can help you do your job better.
Can you give me an example of that? Like how someone could use data in a simple but impactful way?
Sure. Let's say you're a social worker connecting clients with resources in the community. You could keep track of the things your clients need most often. Are there patterns? Are some resources not being used? That simple data can help you fight for better services or see where the system is failing.
So even small pieces of data can build a powerful story and lead to change.
Exactly. And here's another key thing. Being willing to experiment, and I don't mean big research studies, I mean that try it and see attitude.
So being open to new things, even if you make mistakes along the way.
Yeah. Every failure is a chance to learn and do better next time. Like, let's say you're a therapist trying a new technique. Don't be afraid to track how it's working, get feedback from your clients, and change things up if needed.
So it's all about constantly improving.
Yes. And this leads to another important piece, collaboration.
Teamwork.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming. I bet this is where different perspectives and shared ideas can really make a difference.
Absolutely. Imagine a group of teachers getting together to talk about a new curriculum. They share their data, talk about what worked and what didn't, come up with new ideas. That shared knowledge is so valuable.
It's like a learning community where everyone benefits from each other.
Exactly. And it's not just your coworkers. Reach out to researchers, go to conferences, join professional groups. Expose yourself to different views and ideas.
Expanding your horizons and realizing there's always more to learn.
Yes, but let's be real. Not everyone has time for tons of research or expensive conferences.
Right.
What about someone who's feeling overwhelmed or doesn't know where to start? Start small. Even just 30 minutes a week to read a journal article or listen to a podcast like this one can make a difference. And remember, curiosity is your superpower. Ask questions, find mentors. Don't be afraid to reach out to the experts.
So baby steps and building up that scientific muscle over time.
Exactly. And this whole thing about bringing science into your work, it's not just about learning facts. It's a mindset. It's about approaching problems with that curiosity, that desire to understand.
I love that. It's like seeing the world through a scientist's eyes, always asking why and looking for evidence to guide your actions.
Exactly. And as you start thinking this way, you'll see it doesn't just make you better at your job, it makes your whole life richer.
Okay, before we wrap this up, I want to talk about something really important. Critical thinking. We're flooded with information these days. So how can our listener be smart about the research they see and not just believe everything they read or hear?
That's so important. It's easy to get caught up in those headlines or big promises, but a scientific mindset means we have to look closer.
So how do we do that? How do we avoid falling for bad information or biased research?
First, look at who did the research. What are their qualifications and potential biases? Then look at their methods. How did they collect the data? Was it a good sample size? Was the methodology sound? Then evaluate their conclusions. Do they actually match the evidence? And maybe most importantly, think about the context. How does this research apply to your specific situation and the people you're trying to help?
So asking the tough questions and not being afraid to challenge what everyone else is doing, even if it means questioning something that seems like common sense.
Exactly. A scientific mindset means always looking for the truth, even if it means questioning your own beliefs and being willing to change your mind when you see good evidence.
And that's what makes this so exciting. It's about embracing the unknown, challenging what we think we know, and always searching for new knowledge and understanding.
Absolutely. And remember, this whole process of bringing science into helping professions, it never ends. It's about constantly learning, changing, and adapting to new discoveries and challenges.
So stay curious, stay engaged, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore the future of this amazing connection between science and helping professions and what it all means for you and the work you do. Welcome back to the deep dive. It's amazing how much we've covered already.
I know, right?
We started by asking what science even means outside of a lab.
Yeah.
And we talked about different research methods and how to actually use these ideas in real life. But now I'm curious about the future. What's next for this whole science and helping professions thing?
It's a really exciting time to be in these fields. We're on the edge of something big, like a revolution almost.
Ooh, okay, I like it.
We have so much data now, more than ever, and technology is changing so fast.
Yeah.
This opens up a whole new world for understanding and tackling those complex human problems.
So paint me a picture. What does this future look like? What are you most excited about?
Well, one thing that's really cool is personalized interventions. Imagine using data and algorithms to create treatment plans or social services that are tailored to each person.
Wow, so no more one size fits all.
Exactly. It's like going from mass production to handcrafting something special, but for helping people.
I like that analogy.
And this isn't just a dream, it's already happening. There are apps that use machine learning to provide personalized mental health support, and social service agencies are using data to figure out the specific needs of their communities.
So tech is empowering both the helpers and the people who need help. But what about traditional research? Those big studies and journal articles, do they still matter in this data-driven future?
Absolutely. Traditional research is still the foundation of everything we do, but I think we'll see more collaboration between researchers, practitioners, and the communities they work with.
What do you mean by that?
Instead of researchers working alone, we'll see more partnerships. This makes sure that the research questions are relevant, the findings are useful, and everyone benefits from the knowledge.
So breaking down those walls and building a system where everyone is learning together.
Exactly. And tech can help with this too. Imagine online platforms where practitioners can easily find and share research, connect with experts, and contribute their own data and ideas.
Like a global brain trust for helping professions.
Exactly.
But with all this progress, there must be challenges too. What should we be careful about as we move forward?
One big thing is making sure everyone has access to technology and resources.
Oh, right, equity.
We don't want to create a system where only the privileged few benefit. We need to make sure everyone, no matter their background or income, can get the help they need.
So using technology to promote fairness and inclusion, not to make the gaps bigger.
Exactly. And we also have to be really careful about the ethics of using data and algorithms in these fields.
Like what kind of ethical concerns?
Well, for one, we need to make sure the algorithms we use are fair and unbiased, not reinforcing existing prejudices or stereotypes. We also need to be transparent about how this tech is being used and make sure people have control over their own data.
So balancing innovation with responsibility, making sure technology is used in a way that aligns with our values as helpers.
Exactly. The future is full of potential, but it's up to us to shape it in a way that benefits everyone.
Okay, so we've covered the what, the why, and the how of integrating science into helping professions. We've even looked ahead to the future. But as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to bring it back to you, the listener. What's the one thing you're taking away from this conversation? What's the most important insight or action step you'll remember?
If I could leave our listener with just one thought, it would be this. Embrace curiosity. Never stop asking questions, seeking knowledge, and exploring new possibilities. That's what drives a scientific mindset, and that's what leads to real progress and positive change.
I love that. So to all you amazing helpers out there, whether you're a therapist, a social worker, a teacher, or anyone who dedicates their life to supporting others, keep learning, keep growing, and keep using the power of science to make a real difference in the world. And hey, if you want more on this topic, check out The Nature of Science in the Helping Professions. It's packed with insights and reminds us that science isn't just about labs and equations. It's a way of thinking that can change how we approach some of the biggest challenges we face.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So until next time, keep exploring, keep those questions coming, and keep making the world a better place.
And that's a wrap on the deep dive. See you next time.